All right, after Regina, thank you so much for joining us. This is Good Morning Kenya, KBC Channel 1. It's now 6 minutes past 7 a.m. Karibu sana to the program. Today we want to talk about education, innovation, research, etc. And if you have been to any, I believe all of us have, in any university, research is the basic and any source of foundation in a university. So today I have got two professors in studio. We have a biannual conference happening tomorrow for 2 days. That is from 12th to 14th at the Kenyatta International Convention Center. And we just want to learn so much about it today. I have got Professor Jackson Toh, who is the head of Research and Innovation Commission for University Education. Professor, karibu sana.
Thank you very much.
I hope I got it right. Jackson Toh.
Jackson Toh.
Jackson Toh. Yes. All right, and I have Professor Kuria, who is the CEO and the Secretary of the Commission for University Education. Prof, karibu.
Asante sana.
You must be early risers. Let me start with that. We start our day early enough. 5:30, we're always here. I don't know how about you too.
Well, I think we all have to do the same thing. You know, in Nairobi, we have to move around the city. You have to be an early riser.
Right.
So, yes, we are. It's not too early.
Exactly. All right. Karibu sana. The program starting at KICC must be a hard one for you two because there is a lot of work that is going behind the scenes that probably we do not know. First of all, let me start with you, Jackson, Professor. What is happening at the KICC as you speak? Perhaps you just get a background of what's happening there.
Thank you very much, Victor. First and foremost, I want to take this opportunity to thank KBC for having given us this opportunity to be able to interact with the stakeholders and to tell them that we are at the tail end of starting a very interesting and very informative conference at KICC. As of now, we are at the peak of the preparations. We have set KICC to host over 300 participants in the conference, and we have different tracks to handle different thematic areas. And we've been able to reach various speakers across the globe who will be delivering addresses on the various themes, as well as the moderators. So we are really ready to host the conference, and we hope that everybody in the country will be able to be with us as we start the conference. Thank you very much.
All right. CEO, the preparation behind there at the KICC is not an easy one. And you've invited guests from all over, continentally, and actually across our borders. Correct. This must be a serious conference, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Right.
As you rightly mentioned at the beginning, research and innovation is at the center of the higher education. But more importantly, we are living in a time that is very fast changing. And if you're living in a very fast changing environment, and education has to do something about one of the functions of the universities is to not only be changed, but to also harness change.
Yes.
And to also take advantage and also prepare manpower that is going to help us change. So in that kind of an environment, you need to bring universities to play a critical role in the transformation of society, so that we are not just overtaken by change. You discover new technology has come yesterday and we didn't know about it. So it is important that universities come together and think about, in this kind of a fast-changing world, as universities, what is our role towards the transformation of society? And one of the best ways to do that is through research and innovation. Now, what you've just mentioned, we are bringing people from across the world, because you see now, because of the change and technology changes, the world is becoming smaller and smaller. Yes. So we are part of an ecosystem that is large in magnitude, but is quite small in terms of reach because of the technology. And that's the reason why we want to reach out and not just to speak to ourselves, but also speak with the rest of the world.
How is CUE actually, Professor Jackson, in terms of handling this? Because this is the fourth one.
Yes, thank you very much. CUE is well positioned to handle this kind of activity. And this is the fourth edition since we began organizing the conferences. The first conference was organized 8 years ago It was held in Kenyatta University. That was the first ever conference, and we call it Biennial Conference because it is held after every 2 years.
Yes.
So since 2016, we've had 3 conferences held successfully. And in those conferences, we've been able to bring together the different stakeholders in the higher education sector. And CUE is given its role as a regulator and also as the custodian of quality of university education. We are well poised to bring together the universities to be on a platform where ideas can be exchanged, where new innovations can be disseminated, and where scholars can test their ideas and engage with the peers with a view to influencing and shaping the thoughts of the future. And to embrace innovative ideas, embrace new ways of doing things. And CUE is not just about regulation. We also have the mandate of promoting research and innovation, besides quality assurance.
Yes.
And so we want to tell our stakeholders, the universities, the industry, that we can work together to change the narrative of the universities, not just as center ivory towers, but to be in the mainstream position of driving change and enabling society to embrace changes that can transform the lives of the citizens, the lives of so many people. And so we feel that we are in a position that we can guide and influence change for the good of the country and for the good of the world.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm trying to wonder, this is the fourth one.
Correct.
In a span of 8 years.
Yeah.
Are there some of the deliverables that we can carry from the first one? Now we're on the fourth one.
Yes.
Can we carry forward? What can we copy-paste? Some of the progresses? Perhaps, Professor Kuria, maybe you can answer this. From the first one, is there growth? What can we carry from the first one to the fourth one as we start the fourth one tomorrow?
Well, I think there's always something to carry forward from previous ones. And I think it's the lessons that we have learned and the observations of the changes that have been taking place in society. So we have to move in tandem with the changes that are taking place, as I mentioned a little bit earlier. So the focus might be a bit different. In previous times, we faced different problems. In the current times, we are facing new problems. And I think it's that consciousness that we are in a society that is continuously changing. Someone just said that now you don't only have to invent new ideas, but you have to continue reinventing and reinventing yourself. And so while before maybe we were trying to focus on how we educate people to give them certain content, we are now becoming more and more conscious that it is not just the content that you give them, but a capacity to be able to continue learning, for example, for our students. So these are some of the lessons that we pick up from that we cannot continue doing things traditionally. We have to keep transforming, not just the way we do things, but the way we teach, the way we research, the way we connect with the rest of the world. And so I think this year is particularly different because of the kind of thing that you and I were talking a little bit earlier, like the coming of artificial intelligence, for example, which is almost completely transforming the way we do things. I think Jack will tell you that the last time that this was held was that either just before COVID-19. So since COVID-19, we have not done something like this. So obviously, since COVID-19 and now, a lot of changes have taken place. Universities before are quite comfortable with doing the one-on-one teaching in a lecture hall and things like that. Many universities now have moved to the idea of embracing technology and getting online. So that transformation has taken place. And that also means we have to change the way we do things. So those are some of the lessons that would pick up. But obviously Jackson was there when these conferences were taking place. He might have one or two things to
perhaps you can also pick it from there.
Yes, true. In addition to what CEO has said, I think what we have seen from the universities over the time is an increase in the research output. More sessions within themselves in terms of organizing for fora where they can engage. But more importantly are the networks that we've been able to establish. Because universities have an opportunity to compare notes, synergize, and undertake collaborative research. So we've seen more collaborations, more networks within the universities in the country and also outside the university. This we have seen in terms of partnerships that are taking place, in terms of the research output that we see, and when we go out to audit universities and check what they have done, there's an increase in terms of that output. Thirdly is the fact that we have seen in the postgraduate training, more postgraduate students want to have enrolled, and we've given them a forum where they can present their ideas and present their topics that they want to undertake because of the platform that we have created. But of all this, perhaps what I can say has emerged is what the CEO has said about the online learning and the fact that more students are able to access education when it's delivered in different areas remotely via the online platforms. In fact, in the third biennial conference, it was held virtually because we were at the middle of the COVID-19 and we couldn't have the face-to-face interaction. So we were able to deliver that conference virtually, and we had more than 150 attendees. And that set in motion the acceptance of streaming and having conferences virtually. Prior to that, I think we were used to the face-to-face type format of conferences. But these days, we have more of virtual engagements. And I think going forward, we are polishing that and we're making it more and more productive when we have this kind of engagement.
Allow me to ask you about the theme. It's quite evocative, of course. Catalyzing systemic social transformation through research and innovation.
Right.
How did you come with this theme, CEO?
I think if you look at that, it has several keywords. Catalyzing.
Catalyzing.
Meaning, we have to do it at a fast speed. So we wanted to make sure that research and innovation is not going at a snail's pace. We can't afford to do that. Because if you do that, you'll be overtaken by other parts of the world, and you'll just discover that you are playing catch-up. The third word, the word that you see there, is systemic. So we don't want it to be a one-off. So yes, we are meeting at the KICC, and we are going to be talking about transformation, but we need this to become systemic so that it kind of self-replicates and grows. So we don't want to think only about now, but we want to think about the future.
It becomes part of the university's DNA.
Absolutely.
Exactly. This
is one of the reasons why you'll find that in this particular conference, we have invited students. Every university has been invited to bring 2 students who are top researchers in their universities to come and be at the conference. The reason being, yes, they are top scholars from the universities, very well known, and they have made certain breakthroughs in research. But how about tomorrow? Tomorrow will be in the hands of these young people who are going to be at the conference. And we want that to become, as you said, DNA, not just of as an institution, but also the people coming out of the institutions. So the students who will then graduate and go to different universities go with the same culture.
But do you find the motivation?
The motivation is there.
In the younger researchers?
Yes, it is there. I mean, think about it. the students from St. Paul's University who won a big award, who are not even scientists, but they sat down and started thinking, how can we change society? So there are many young students that want to be innovative, they want to be creative. I think actually probably this is more in the DNA of young people that we want to acknowledge. Because these guys are tired of the status quo. They want things to change. They want to see how can we see things differently. I think the question is, are we giving these young people enough space for them to be innovative and creative? This, I think, will be one of the discussions that will be taking place at the conference, as people are thinking about how do we engage in higher education in a way that inspires this young generation to become creative and innovative.
Yes.
So it is there. And so that's why that word systemic is there. But there is also the question of social transformation. And we were talking a little bit earlier about the bottom-up approach and the question of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. So we are thinking about this is, it should contribute to social transformation. And social transformation in a way that reaches every one of us, you know, the stakeholders, so that we are not only transforming somewhere at the top or in the middle, but we are transforming the whole society. So we leave no one behind. That's the idea. So
it's a blockchain.
That's the reason why you see those keywords in that.
But is there a link between the innovators right now, okay, let me call the professors and the younger generation who are the current researchers? Where's the missing link? Prof.
Yeah. The issue that we have currently is how are the professors and academics of the older generation able to work with the upcoming young generation? And you've asked where is the missing link in this space of research. One of the challenges that we have is in terms of the capacity of the capacity and the different levels that the young people have grown, and let's say the older academics. You'll find that the young people, the upcoming young people, are more versatile in technology. They have access to a lot of information. They are able to pick up things quickly. Whereas you might find that some of the older academics might have ways that they have grown, and sometimes there is a challenge in terms of agreeing. But I wouldn't say that it is missing aside to the extent that they are not working together. What happens in the university setting is that there is mentorship, because professors mentor young students through supervision of their proposals, of their dissertations. They also develop proposals that they work together collaboratively. And the young upcoming students benefit from the experience of the older academics. The young people are more versatile in terms of getting information, in terms of coming up with ideas that they think can be tested. And if I might refer to the case of St. Paul, where the youth were able to extract banana barks and leaves to make the pads for the young people, was a breakthrough in terms of using local materials to come up with a product that can be commercialized. We've also had cases like in Joost, where they've been able to enhance food security by coming up with ideas on how we can use available materials, insects, to make insect foods and contribute to food security and change our culture. So the link I would say that exists now is not so much between the students, young students, and the professors. The missing link is the industry, the players who are outside there, is the community. For a long time, universities have been operating in some kind of isolated way. We want to break that gap by letting the community come in and work with the university, the industry, the hospitality, the service industry. There should be, clear and avenues of them linking up and working to have solutions to challenges we have in the community.
And I believe, CEO, there must be a lot of benefits that the entire university ecosystem is going to benefit, as well as the general public, out of this conference.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, I want to go back just to emphasize the point that you
go ahead.
What is that missing link? And I agree. One of the biggest links, that is missing links in my view, and it's not just in Kenya. I think it's quite pervasive maybe in the African continent. I want to speak about the East African space because that's the one I'm most comfortable with. But for example, there was a move by the World Bank to create what were called African Centers of Excellence.
Yes.
He has referred to one of those at Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University of Science and Technology, dealing with insect food. So these guys have come up with very innovative ideas about how to make sure that we can diversify our food so that we can consume insects, for example. And they have a system to try and turn those insects to edible things like cookies, biscuits, and crackers, things like that. But can this be commercialized so that it becomes, when you go to the supermarket next time in Nairobi, you find a product that has come as a result of that innovation?
Tried and tested.
Tried and tested. Yeah. So this is, I think, one of the biggest things that are missing. Increasingly, when you go to all these African centers of excellence, you have the great ideas, but that shift from innovation to commercialization, it doesn't quite get there. And this is one of the reasons why you see that topic of our saying systemic social transformation, because we would also like industry to buy into the idea that if we want to be self-sufficient, if we want to be independent, if we want to compete with the rest of the world on a global scale, at the same standard, we must also invest in our own innovations, which means that industry can also go to university and say, hang on a minute, you have a great idea here. How can we transform this idea into a commercial something? How can we make this one accessible not only in Kenya, but even outside Kenya? And once we start doing that, we provide that particular connection so that it is an ecosystem. The industry doesn't just sit there saying, we are waiting for universities to produce graduates so that they can come and work for us. And university don't sit here and say, we are doing our thing here, and you guys are doing your thing there. It's an ecosystem.
Yes.
We have to work together so that the students and even staff members can actually have industry experience.
Absolutely.
There are some universities which will say, sorry about that, some universities which will say, if you want to teach a course on entrepreneurship, you should yourself be an entrepreneur, so that you have a connection with industry. So here in this particular conference, we are encouraging that linkage to come together so that industry and universities start thinking, how do we build a system together?
Is there discussion on that? Because when you talk about innovation from infancy stage until the point of commercialization, yes, you talked about, that's one of the biggest links. Yes, you will innovate, but how can you commercialize it? The insect food, you go to any retail store across the country and you find it there. So how is CUE perhaps trying to bridge that gap? The innovation will still come, the next conference will come, but how are you going to solve this problem as part of the problem solving as CUE? Prof?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think that is where the crux of the matter is.
Yes.
And the first step is in having a forum where the universities and the industry come together. Once they talk to each other, it's a good start. But as CUE, we want to take it a step further, where we want to see universities partnering with the industry when they are developing programs.
Yes.
When they are reviewing curricula, and incorporate ideas from the industry in the curricular delivery, curricular development, and even assessment. For a long time, universities have been meeting the industry only at the very tail end of the training of graduates, when they are going for attachment.
And that is why you'll find most employers will say that a student is half-baked. Okay.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
But here I'm trying to build the case that we only go to the industry for only 3 months towards the end of your training. And that is not enough to really prepare a graduate that is fit for purpose. And so we want to ask and tell universities, have more engagements with the industry. Why don't you have a whole year training partnership with the industry?
Yes.
Not just 3 months. Have, in first year, develop your curriculum and tailor it to expose students to be in the industry. From first year, second year, up to the 4th year in our current structure. That way, you'll be able to build the skills and the capacity and to have a graduate that the industry and the world would take. You talked of the half-baked, but you see, we need input from the industry also. We need their input at the very level of training and not just at the end.
Yeah.
So through attachment, through internship, we want to see universities having that. And from our position at the Commission, it will not just be about graduating our students, but we want to see a university demonstrating how they are engaging with the community in different disciplines. And for sometimes we have this notion that industry is just about manufacturing. Industry can be a service industry, the hospitality, the schools. Anywhere where our graduates go to work in is the industry.
Yes.
Even sports industry. So if a university has a course in sports science, we want to see them working with Kenya 3As, the rugby teams, the tennis teams, and have that partnership together to link practice and theory. And through that synergy in the university, we will be able to produce graduates who are fit for purpose in different sectors of the economy.
CEO, how is CUE, since you took reign of that seat, what are some of the changes that you've seen across the universities across the country? The research, which is quite important, the innovation, etc. How is CUE managing that particular platform across all the universities? That, for example, if I come all the way from university in Machakos, I go to Garissa, I go to my home county, Homa Bay, and go to Eldoret, anywhere, you'll find a common link that you'll not find a missing link between a university in point A and a university in point B. That, with reference to what CUE is doing.
Okay. Before I go there, you asked a question that you asked whether this discussion about innovation and monetization of research
you can reflect
is
on
going
that
to be available.
well.
I just want to let you know, actually, it's going to be the last, the topic on the last day. And we have the theme of that one, or the topic, is monetizing and commercializing innovations, strategies for startups and scale-ups. So there will be a discussion. That's the point I wanted to make sure to let you know. There is actually that discussion. We want universities to discuss on how do you make sure that you translate the research you are doing into something that is commercial.
Yes.
But now to come
the business
back to
advantage.
Business advantage.
Exactly.
So there will be people here with experience, and the universities will have a chance to engage those people and see how do we make sure we can protect our innovations. How do we make sure that we can ensure if it is commercialized, we gain from it. There have been very sad cases sometimes where people have come up with innovations, they are commercialized, and you hardly ever get anything out of it. So, but you asked the question, what is CUE doing to make sure that there is harmony across the country?
Yeah.
The first thing I would like to say is that we don't want every university to be a replica of the other university, because if you do that, then you have killed innovation. So we want to encourage innovativeness. So, however, I hear you. What you're saying is, but I want the person who graduates from Garissa University and says, I have a degree, to have the same respect as a person who graduates from Turkana University,
exactly,
and the same respect as a person who graduates from Nairobi University. So that's why the Commission for University Education exists. The Commission for Education develops standards that every university must meet. So before we give you an accreditation status in this country, we check that you meet those particular minimum standards. So in terms of infrastructure, in terms of staffing, in terms of the curriculum that you have, the way that you teach it, the way you assess students. So there is a basic minimum that every university meets. And that minimum is benchmarked not just locally, but also internationally. So you will find, and I really must emphasize this because sometimes I think this point is not made enough. You hear a lot of complaints, we are training graduates that are not ready for the market, or the quality of education has gone down. You hear all those kind of conversations. But the truth of the matter is, when you get a student from this country, and you take them to the US, the UK, and other places for postgraduate studies, they go there and find students from all the world, and they perform very well. And I have seen that students who go to Tanzania, they become top students. They're coming from this education system here. So, and I think that's the reason why that happens, is because there are some minimum standards that have been met by the Commission for University Education, and these universities have met them. But once they do that, we want to allow universities also to be innovative. So it's okay for Strathmore University to produce a different kind of graduate from Daystar University, from Nairobi University, and from other universities. But those graduates are graduates first and foremost, then they can have the other special qualities.
Gentlemen, let's take a break. Let's take a break. When you come back, I still want us to talk much more about what are some of the benefits that we are going to carry out of this function once we are done with the conference. And there is that problem statement that is there, that is supposed to be resolved. And what are the speakers? That we are going to talk about. All right, stick around. We'll be having more of this discussion shortly after this. Good morning. And welcome back. My name is Professor Victor. My name is Victor Oloo. They say whenever you have 3 millionaires, you are the 4th millionaire by association. All right, on a lighter note. So we are talking about the conference that is coming up tomorrow. Allow me to ask you, gentlemen, so far, perhaps somebody would really need to understand. Professor To, so I want to come as an exhibitor, maybe as a learner. What are some of the things that I'm going to carry out of that function? Once the conference is done, so what are some of the take-homes that I need to prepare myself to after the conference?
Thank you very much. I think that's a very good question. What we take home? One is that we will have given visibility to the exhibitions and innovations from universities. Because they'll be able to showcase what products they have. Two is that we will be able to establish networks, partnerships, and collaborations from the many participants and delegates. When they visit those stands, the booths where we shall have the exhibitions, and look at the products, they will take the contacts. And that will be the beginning of a long journey of engagement and partnering with the universities.
Yes.
Then we will also see scenarios where from the different exhibitions that will be showcased, the industry is also there. They can be able to further engage on the products they have. And this can lead to what we said earlier about commercialization and monetization of the innovations in the university. A third take-home is the fact that we will be visible. And the different participants from different universities will be able to benchmark with the best practice. We also have, from the region, exhibitions. We have invited Uganda High Commission for Education. We have Tanzania Commission for Education. The Inter-University Council for East Africa is also participating, and many other exhibitors. We also have, within here, we have the Kenya, NRF, and other agencies. So when they come together, they will be able to pick some of the innovative products and ideas and pick it up from there.
Yeah.
So I see coming out of this the opportunity for commercialization and partnerships emerging from these engagements, elevating our innovative ideas because we are benchmarking with the best.
Yeah.
Remember that we have participants from all over the globe, and from the interactions that we shall be having in the different thematic areas in the halls, we will be able to capture this document, and we hope to generate policy directions that can shape policies in the Ministry of Education, in different sectors and different departments of government. It will also be able to come up with ideas as a commission from the presentations on how we can align our guidelines to be in tandem with emerging thoughts in the world. So we will benefit a lot in terms of improving our practice, carrying the best from what we have observed and the networks that will be there.
Just to add on top of what you've said, some of the expected exhibitors are universities, of course, the primary anchors. We have got research institutions.
Right.
We also have government ministries and SAGAs. We also have technology companies that you don't have to miss, by the way. This is going to be a big one. We have educational technology providers as well coming to that function, research funding agencies, which is quite important because in any research there must be funding, and you must have these people behind you to, when you talk about commercialization of this, there has to be that chain. Innovation hubs and accelerators as well will also be coming. Consultancy firms, this is your time to come. Exhibit, come and learn something. You never know. Last but not least, you have publishing houses. I believe KIA should be there and all that, non-profit organizations, and finally, and many more, including us, we will be there.
Yes.
I want to ask you a question, CEO. You know, when you look at the whole of this, it's a solid block of a conference. But what are some of the key areas that the focus will be, the conference will be focusing on? Probably, just to break it down for that person who will be coming there to, to prepare for.
Yeah, it will be very diverse, as we said.
Yes.
So if we begin with what we mentioned at the beginning, there will be a session where we are asking universities to engage with industry and think about how best to translate research and innovation into commercial products, so that there is that interconnectedness. And so that also we are midwifing or encouraging there to be a collaboration between academia and the industry, for purposes of preparing what we have been calling industry-ready graduates. But there will also be even topics like artificial intelligence. We'll be talking about that and seeing the ways in which artificial intelligence is changing the way we learn, the way we teach, the way we research, the way we do everything. And in fact, one of the speakers had an article over the weekend where he was arguing that if we do nothing about it and AI comes, it will so transform us and may even lead some institutions to becoming extinct because people don't have any more use for you. What they could find in your institution, they can find it on a certain AI platform. And so we need to reinvent ourselves in that. So that is going to be one of the other subjects that is going to be discussed there in detail. We're also going to be talking about how we connect with other parts of the world. So that's one of the reasons why the Inter-University Council for East Africa, we have invited them. And you may be aware that in 2017, the whole of the East African community was declared a common higher education area.
Yes.
And so we need to fit in that particular context. But we also, as a country, need to extend our influence to that particular region. So in our universities, we need to do something to make sure that there is not only the presence of our Kenyan students, but students from the East African community. And the Inter-University Council for East Africa helps that. That also allows for the question of student mobility exchange between, so if you have a certain course and maybe you don't have a certain expertise, but that expertise is found at the University of Dar es Salaam,
yes,
you can link up and you can exchange stuff.
Yes.
So maybe you have something they don't have and they have something you don't have, you can exchange those stuff so that for a short period of time, they go to the University of Dar es Salaam and they deliver that particular course. And on the other side, you get the other. So that is going to be the other kind of topic that we are going to be having here. So it's going to be diverse. There are also going to be many presentations from people who have been funded by the National Research Fund. And those topics will be wide, from agriculture to climate change to teaching and learning innovations. So all those topics will be covered during this particular time.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Allow me to ask you this one, Prof.
Yeah.
How is Kenya doing continentally in terms of research, in terms of innovation, continentally?
Yes.
Where are we?
Thank you very much. We are doing fairly well. By the standards of Africa, we are doing well. Because if you look at the data from different sources,
yes,
on research output, that is in terms of publications, in terms of innovations, in terms of startups, we are ranked somewhere in the top 5. Top 5. South Africa normally leads, and Egypt and Morocco, but in sub-Saharan Africa, we are doing extremely well.
And perhaps this is making CUE to have sleepless nights.
Oh, sure. Oh, sure. So in Africa, we are doing well. We can do better. We can do more if we invest more resources in supporting research, creating more networks within ourselves, building our capacity in terms of skills for doing research, and also partnering with the North and identify areas of interest that we can collaborate. In the present world, Victor, the key word is collaboration, working together. And even multidisciplinary research, multi-sectoral collaborations is what is driving a change. Long gone are the days when a researcher does his own things alone. You have to collaborate, you have to work together. And an engineer will need a social researcher. He will need a electronic critic.
Yes.
You need everybody to move forward. And the more we appreciate that, the better we'll be able to upscale and raise our profile. So we have that opportunity. And what we are doing, it will go towards elevating and increasing our visibility and our ranking. And I think we are doing well. Yeah.
All right, CEO, you know, before it changed to CUE, under the Act of Parliament, it was CHE. Yeah. So what is your mandate? And is it so different from CHE?
Yes, it's a bit different in the sense that CHE, Commission for Higher Education, had mandate even to people who are not offering degrees. What the Commission for University Education, you see the word university comes here. So we are focused on university education. So if you are in technical areas, for example, TVETs, those are the different category now. So we don't look at that. So we look at anybody who wants to operate in the space that offers degrees, postgraduate programs, but as long as that institution that is offering whatever service it's offering is called a university and gives a degree, it comes out under our mandate. So I think that's a big difference between the chair before and the Commission for University Education. So we were now focused only on university education.
On universities. Okay, quite important to note. Okay, I mean, we have exhibitions coming tomorrow, and what's the procedure? Perhaps, am I allowed to register right now to be an exhibitor, or the registration is completed?
I'll let...
thank you very much.
Because
we had given deadlines. We had three things, Victor. One, we had paper presentations. These are papers based on research that have been undertaken. We had given a deadline for those with papers to submit the abstracts. we closed that window after we received abstracts and we vetted and were able to select the best which will be presented on different thematic areas. For the exhibition, we had asked universities and any other entity to show interest and write to us to exhibit. And we still have that window. If you have anything to share, Victor, that window is still there, and we are asking stakeholders, the university, the industry, that the window is still there today. We have booths that will be offered to them to exhibit their wares and innovations. And we are accepting any innovative idea. It can be a startup that you can demonstrate on your computer. It can be a product from the farm. It can be a crop. It can be anything that would go a long way into transforming the society or making a difference, making our ways of doing things better. It's open. And we really want to champion that and give everybody an opportunity, a chance to showcase your idea. No idea is useless. There is something in it, and we can grow it, we can escalate it to something big from a very small idea.
This reminds me of Science Congress in high school.
Sure. Yes.
This reminds me of Science Congress. I remember doing the preparation of banana pudding, baked banana pudding in, I don't know what was that, but I believe we can also do it right now and make it even more commercial.
Yes.
But that is something more of Science Congress, but on the university level.
Yes.
Look at it this way, Prof.
Yeah.
If you look at CUE right now, what's your area of focus moving forward after the conference? So what are we looking for after the conference?
That's a great question. I think I would like to say the result of this conference is not what will actually happen in the conference, but what happens after the conference. And there are two things that could happen, or several things, but the major one is that a mind shift takes place in the minds of higher education providers. And to say, one, we are going to focus on this question of research and innovation. Number two, we are going to connect with industry in our research and innovation, teaching and learning. Number three, we will cultivate talent in our universities so that we are continuously producing people who are creative and innovative for the transformation of society. Number four, industries say, we have seen actually that there are good things that are happening in the universities. Universities have ideas. Actually, we have a problem. We could go to a university and say, this is our problem. Can you research and innovate about it and help us resolve it? So that there is a greater working relationship between the universities and industries, and that translates to more jobs created in society. That creates to problems being solved. For example, one of the universities here will be exhibiting how they are doing research on malaria and other diseases, food security. So we help transform society by working together. And I'm thinking that if this network arises out of this particular research and becomes stronger, I think we'll have achieved our objective.
A quick question. The connection between CBC and this conference and CUE, do we have that connection somewhere?
Yes, we do.
Please.
We do. Yeah, thank you very much. Very good question. We have, as a thematic area, reforms in education. And when you talk about reforms, we are focusing on CBC, competency-based curriculum, but at the university we like to call it CBE, competency-based education. And appreciating the fact that the country is currently implementing competency-based curriculum, which is now in grade 8, the cohorts of learners who are now in grade 8 will be joining university in the next 6 years or so. And so, as a commission and as a universities, we have to get ready. We have to prepare to receive these students. And that has implications in terms of curriculum review, in terms of training staff and academics, retooling the academics, looking at the teaching approaches. And at the Commission, we have begun that process of engaging the universities, asking them to review their curricula and align it to the curriculum, competency-based curriculum. And so in this conference, we want to hear more conversation, more ideas, and listen to the issues in countries that have implemented CBC. We want to hear issues, challenges that could be there, and for all of us, the university sector and the Commission, to have better understanding and to prepare better for CBC in the university.
Yes.
So it's there, and
it's there.
We really want to learn more about it. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. All right, gentlemen, I'm afraid we are running out of time. It's exactly 8. Thank you so much. But one thing that I must say is that if you are in the country and you have a chance to go to the KICC, please make a time and go there. Tomorrow will be a serious and a big exhibition for the 4th Biennial Conference on the Universities, Research and Innovation, which will be held at the KICC. We'll be there, as KBC will be there, so do not miss. We have got several speakers will be coming from globally and even continentally, including the 2 professors here will also be there, so you can also get there and learn a thing or two. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming to the show. I believe that we have covered some of the areas that we needed. I've been talking to Professor Mike Kuria, who is the Commission Secretary and CEO, that is, of Commission for University Education, and Professor Jackson Toh, who is the Commission head of Research and Innovation, CUA. Gentlemen, asante sana for coming to the show.
Thank you.
All right, and thank you so much for watching. Let's take a break. Come back, we'll be crossing over to Kiswahili, that is Zinga, and Rashid will be taking charge of that discussion. We are talking about matters budget. Gentlemen, budget is coming on Thursday. Is it affecting you as CUE? All right. Don't miss that. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Victor. Good morning.